rate volatility between both markets. Foreign exchange analysts say the Naira's performance will continue to depend on dollar liquidity, inflows from oil exports, foreign portfolio investment, and the Central Bank of Nigeria's interventions in the FX markets. They also note that demand from importers and manufacturers remains a key factor influencing exchange rate movements. Now, Nigeria's downstream petroleum market witnessed another round of price reductions on Monday, with the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and several major fuel marketers lowering depot prices for premium motor spirit (PMS), popularly known as petrol and diesel. This development comes at the backdrop of pressures from the federal government as well as growing competition and improving product availability. Earlier yesterday, before the price adjustments, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heniken Lokpobiri, told a stakeholders meeting that the current retail price of petrol does not reflect the sharp decline in price of crude oil. The meeting, convened by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, was attended by representatives of the Dangote Refinery, Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Depots and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, and Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Nigeria. The latest midday depot price report showed that Dangote Refinery reduced its ex-depot petrol price in Lagos by 3 naira per litre, from 1,079 naira to 1,076 naira per litre, while maintaining its diesel price at 1,500 naira per litre. The reduction comes as several marketers also adjusted their prices downward in an apparent move to remain competitive in an increasingly price-sensitive market. Among the major Lagos depots, NIPCO cut its petrol price by 2 naira to 1,076 naira per litre, while Pinnacle lowered its price by 3 naira to 1,075 naira per litre. Sahara, AIPEC, and African Terminal each reduced prices by 4 naira, bringing their petrol prices to 1,075 naira per litre. Aito maintained its petrol price at 1,075 naira per litre. Diesel prices also softened across several depots. Rain Oil reduced its AGO price by 15 naira to 1,040 naira per litre, while Ibeto, Dupont, and Ibechem all cut prices to 1,430 naira per litre. Dangote Refinery, however, retained its diesel price at 1,500 naira per litre. Independent petroleum marketers on Monday pushed for the restoration of importation rights and projected that the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, could fall below 800 naira per litre as the federal government intensified efforts to force down the cost of petrol. The development came as the federal government met with major operators in the downstream petroleum sector, including representatives of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, over what it described as the disconnect between falling global crude oil prices and the relatively high pump price of petrol in the domestic market. The stakeholders meeting on cost-reflective pricing of PMS, held at the headquarters of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Abuja, brought together the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, the Depot and Petroleum Products Retailers Association of Nigeria, the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, and other major operators in the sector. Also in attendance were chief executives and representatives of Total Energies, Eternal PLC, Matrix Energy Group, officials of the NMDPRA, and delegates from the Dangote refinery. Petrol prices have remained a major source of hardship for households and businesses in Nigeria, with pump prices surging following the spike in global crude oil prices triggered by tensions in the Middle East, particularly between Iran and the United States. Although crude oil prices have moderated after diplomatic efforts eased the tensions, the reduction has yet to be fully reflected in domestic petrol prices, prompting the federal government to convene a stakeholders meeting aimed at driving a fair reduction in pump prices. The national president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Abubakar Megandi, urged the government to permit independent marketers to import petroleum products directly, saying greater competition would ultimately reduce prices. Megandi also called for support for local refineries, particularly the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, while stressing the need to allow marketers to import products whenever necessary. Now, the Nigerian Revenue Service generated 21.6 trillion naira in the first half of 2026, representing a 49% increase year-on-year, driven by sweeping tax reforms, digitalization of tax administration, and changes to oil revenue remittances, an economic report from the presidency has shown. The figures were contained in the Economic Snapshot Report 2023 versus 2026, obtained on Monday. The report reviewed Nigeria's economic performance since President Bola Tinubu assumed office in May 2023 and attributed the increase in revenue collections to policy reforms implemented over the past 3 years. According to the report, total tax collections rose from 12.3 trillion naira in 2023 to 21 trillion naira in 2024 and 28.3 trillion naira in 2025, while the 21.6 trillion naira generated in the first 6 months of 2026 represented a 49% increase over the corresponding period of 2025. It also stated that non-oil revenue accounted for 76% of total collections, while Nigeria's tax-to-GDP ratio improved from 10.3% to 13%. The report attributed the revenue growth to the digitalization of tax administration, the implementation of 4 tax reform laws, the expansion of the Nigeria Revenue Services mandate, and Executive Order 9, which changed the remittance process for oil revenues. The report also credited Executive Order 9, signed in February 2026, with boosting monthly Federation account receipts by closing loopholes in upstream oil and gas remittances. The report further noted that sustained investment in staff training, recruitment, and digital tools under the current leadership also contributed to the agency's record collections. And that's a wrap on business.